Good day, guys. This is your tutor engineer. We are continuing with our series on functions. Today we'll be doing hyperbola function. So let's start. For each given function f of x, draw the graph of f of x and its inverse when the same set of axes clearly show all intercepts with the axes, asymptotes, and lines of symmetry. And question B, write the equation of the inverse of f of x in the form of y is equal to. Okay, now let's start with question 1, or the first function. Basically going to be doing the same thing with question 2, but let's start with question 1. The first thing, we must get the x-intercept when you plot the graph where y is 0, and then you'll have, then you just basically solving for x from here. Here we'll cross multiply. So if you're not sure, I've got other videos where I demonstrate how to solve for x. Please check those videos out if you're not sure, but it should be pretty straightforward. And then x here will be minus 6 minus 1, which is minus 7 over 3. Then our x-intercept is 7 over 3 and 0. Then likewise for the y-intercept, we'll say x is 0. Then we'll solve for f of 0. That's 1 plus 6, which is 7 over 2. Y-intercept, so 0, 7 over 2. Now let's choose a different color. Let's choose color red. Didn't pick it up. Okay, red color. Y-intercept, x-intercept. Then for the asymptotes, this is basically the asymptote for y. Y is 3. And then for the x asymptote, we just change the sign to be x is equal to minus 2. Now let's label the x and y axes and start by labeling the asymptote. We have minus 2, and then the y is 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the y asymptote. Then x asymptote. Now let's choose a color which will be different. Let's choose purple. Now let's plot the graph. The y-intercept is almost 7. 7 over 2 is 3 over 5, right? So if you have 4 here, 3 over 5 is here. Then for the x-intercept, it's minus 7 over 3, which is about 2, minus 2.333, somewhere here. Now the graph will look something like this, cutting the x-axis at minus 7 over 3. Then likewise on the y-axis is 7 over 2. So this is your graph for f. Now the question also asks of us to plot the inverse. Now let's do so. Remember, for the inverse you must first draw the line y is equal to x, and then you'll be able to plot the inverse. So everything for the inverse is vice versa. Let's choose a different color. I'll show you why am I saying so. Let's choose orange color. The y asymptote was cutting at 3. So now it's no longer going to cut the y, it's going to cut the x at 3. The asymptote instead of it being y, it's going to become x. Likewise here, we have minus 2. That means the asymptote will cut on the y-axis. So everything is just swapped around. The y-intercept of 7 over 2 will become the x-intercept. 7 over 2 will be here for the inverse. And then the x-intercept likewise will become our y-intercept. This is minus 3. This is where 2.333 minus is. Now our function for the inverse will look something like this. It will not touch the asymptotes until infinity. Likewise here, it will cut on the x-axis at 7 over 2 and not touch the asymptote until infinity. So I will label it as the inverse function. So let's do question B. Question B says, write the equation of the inverse of f of x in the form of y is equal to. Okay, question B, basically you need to write the equation of f in terms of y. So it's x plus 2 plus 3, right? We've captured it correctly. Yes, we did. Now, from here on, you swap x and y around, so this one will become a y instead of x. So it's y plus 2 plus 3. And then from here on, you're going to solve for y. So you subtract 3 both sides. You will have 1 over, okay, it will become x minus 3. So from here on, you can just cross multiply. So, okay. From here on, you can cross multiply. If you do so, it looks a little bit weird, right? So we replaced y by x and x by y. Then you subtracted both sides. Yes, now let's continue. If you cross multiply this, you'll have y plus 2 x minus 3 is equal to 1. So you'll have y plus 2 is equal to 1 over x minus 3. You will have 1 over x minus 3 minus 2. So this will be y for the inverse, or you can just call it inverse of x. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing for question 2. You're basically doing the very same thing, no difference. Okay, let's do it. You can pause the video and see if you can do it by yourself. Let me quickly rush through it. For the x-intercept, you're going to say y is equal to 0, as we did with the first question. So from here on, you cross multiply. When you do so, then you divide both sides by minus 2. Then from here on, you can add 4 this side, positive 4 on the other side. X is 5. In this case, x-intercept is 5 and 0. Then for the y-intercept, we do the same thing and saying x is 0. And then you solve for f of 0, it will be minus 2, 0 minus 4 plus 2. Then here it's 1 over 2 plus 2, which will give us 2 times 2 is 5 is 4. So this is actually 5 over 2. Y-intercept is 5, is 0 and 5 over 2. Now let's choose a different color. This is y and x-intercept. Now you're going to deal with the asymptotes. Likewise, this is going to be the y asymptote, which is 2. The x asymptote will flip a sign, is going to be 4. Now let's get onto it already. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 here. We'll mark the x asymptote. Then here you have 1, 2. We'll mark the y asymptotes. Now let's choose a different color. Let's choose purple. Now let's mark the x-intercept. The x-intercept is a 5, and then the y-intercept is 5 over 2. 5 over 2 is about 2.5, so if you have a 3 here, 2.5 is somewhere here. So your graph will look something like this, cutting on your y-intercept. Then this side, it will cut on your x-intercept and looking something like this. You can just call it graph of f. Now the question is asking us to also draw the inverse. For us to draw the inverse, we must first draw the line y is equal to x, right? So that is going to be y is equal to x. And then let's choose a color which is different. Let's choose a black color. Okay, for the inverse, we'll swap everything around. For the asymptotes now of the graph of f was 2. Now they're going to be cutting at the x-axis instead of the y. So you'll swap 2 around. Likewise with the 4, our new asymptote for the inverse will cut on the y-intercept instead of an x-intercept. Okay, now let's choose a color to draw the inverse. Choose orange. Okay, since we had the x-intercept at 5, now we're going to have the y-intercept at 5, right? So you see, I will swap everything around. We had the y-intercept at 2.5. Now we're going to have the x-intercept at 2.5. Now let's plot our inverse. It's going to look something like this. Not touching the asymptotes. Remember, the asymptotes go all the way up. And then likewise this side, the graph is going to come and cut at 2.5 and not really touching the asymptotes. So we'll call that graph of the inverse. Okay, we've come to the end of our lesson. Wait a minute. Just question B, right? Okay, before we come to the end of the lesson, let's do question B, where we write the equation of the inverse. Remember, our original function for f is minus 2, x minus 4 minus, plus 2. Right? Yeah, that's correct. And then we'll start by swapping x and y, and then you solve for y. here subtract minus 2 both sides, then you have here x minus 2 is equal to minus 2 over y over 4. Then here you start cross multiply y minus 4 x minus 4 is going to be minus 2, and then you can divide by x minus 2 this side, and that side we'll have y minus 4 is equal to minus 2 x minus 2. Then when you solve for y, you can just add plus 4 both sides, then y will be minus 2 x minus 2 plus 4. This will be the equation for your inverse. Okay, now we've really come to the end of our lesson for today. If you like today's lesson, please subscribe and stay tuned on the next lesson. We'll meet again next time, and cheers.